Section 11 of Assemble's Getting Started tutorial reviews how to organize, code, and color the model to help you sort out bid packages, provide a conceptual estimate, prioritize design alternates, or other estimating and budgeting workflows. Let's start by opening the view of the interior partitions from the last tutorial. Click on the Coby Office sample project. Search for Interior and choose the view. Let's create a new grouping for our inventory. Choose Create New Grouping from the bottom of the selection. Let's call our grouping Classification Codes. We'll use the assembly code property to organize our classification system. And then click Create. You'll notice that the objects in the model have not been assigned a classification code. We'll start conditioning our model by adding those classification codes. Click on our first wall type, Wall Interior Furring 38mm. Click on the Type tab at the top of the Properties panel and scroll down to Assembly Code. Click on the empty value field next to Assembly Code. By default, the Uniformat structure is loaded into Revit models. This assembly code structure can be customized with your own assembly code structure, including quantities and unit costs that you'd use to create a conceptual estimate. For more information, please review our support pages to understand how to upload your own assembly code structure. Back to our wall furring, let's expand See Interiors and choose Interior Construction, Partitions, and Fixed Partitions. We'll choose the appropriate classification and hit Select. Then choose Save. You'll notice the objects get classified appropriately. Hit Escape and choose Interior Partition 92mm. We'll go through the same process by choosing the appropriate classification system for this interior partition. And click Save. Go ahead and condition the rest of the walls and then return to the video. After classifying all your wall types, you should no longer see Not Assigned, meaning all wall types have been assigned a classification code. Next, we'll review and condition the instance properties for each wall type. Choose the Interior Furring 38mm and open the Properties panel. Click on the Instance tab and review the quantity associated with the object. Notice that you have choices for how you'd like to quantify those objects. In this case, we'll leave the wall unit of measure, area, in meters squared. Next, let's apply a color override to our wall components to differentiate them from the other systems. And finally, let's add a unit cost based on the unit of measure we chose previously, and then hit Save. You'll notice that the total cost has been updated based on the unit cost we assigned to this wall type. Let's condition a few more walls with the same information. I'll verify my unit of measure, apply a color override, add a unit cost, and click Save. Finish conditioning each wall type with the relevant information and then return to the video. After conditioning the unit of measure, the color override, and the unit cost, let's create a view that we can use to export and share with other project stakeholders. Notice that our project inventory does not contain unit cost or total cost. Let's modify the columns to reflect the information. I'll leave count and area as they're relevant to our takeoff information. Then I'll add unit cost and total cost to the view, and then click Done. Now we'll be able to see the cost associated with each roll-up in our classification system. Now we're ready to export. Click on the Import/Export button at the upper right-hand corner of your screen and click Export to Microsoft Excel. Verify the name that you'd like to use for the view and choose to include instances. Then click Export. You'll notice that the classification system, including the colors and the unit costs, have all exported just like the view that we created. Be sure to save your view before you move on and condition the other views in your project.